Alright guys, welcome to a new video on the channel, and as you can see I have some KASHTIRA cards here. So this video is about a list that I tried in the recent local that I played at, and I've also tried it online at Dueling Book and I had a lot of success. Because was Raziel and Malice in the format, hand traps are not that important anymore, though you don't need like a shit ton of pile of hand traps to be able to compete. So I pulled together this list and I want to show you guys this list because it's not fun for the enemy, but that's not important about that list. It's fun for us, and that's the most important part. I'll put the side deck and the extra deck to the side for now, and then we talk about the main deck, because I feel like that differentiates a lot from recent KASHTIRA lists that I've been playing. So the main and arguably the strongest card in the deck is KASHTIRA Unicorn. The reason you play this card is because you need to get your KASHTIRA bursts. Bursts and Theosis are very important in this list, so we try every chance we get to them. On top of the Unicorn, we play 3 KASHTIRA Fenrir. At Master Duel at 1, we can play it at 3 here. And then we play a couple of one-offs. The first one will be KASHTIRA Ogre for preparation, which is very important in this list. Then we play the one-off Scarecrow KASHTIRA, we always do that. And not to be forgotten, Tearcash. So now you might be wondering, what the fuck is Tearcash doing here? It has a purpose. I'll show you this purpose in a second when you see what the deck is about. And then 3R is hard. We want to max out on names. And then maybe you already see it here on the phone cam, but we see the Ascendant of Thunder. So what the fuck is this card? You're going to see it in the top left or right in the video, but basically you can special summon this card. It costs you 3000 LP. If this card gets destroyed by battle or card effect, then you get this back. But you get 5000 LP back. That's not the most important part though. It's a non-activated effect that you can just cheat out. You can just special this card, and it's at level 7, and it's also 2700 attack, so it's quite strong, I would say. It could pitch over a Do Drive or other cards that are rank 4, except a Detonator. So that is worth mentioning. And yeah, it's level 7, so it can be easily used for level 7s. Now for the spells and traps, we play 3 KASHTIRA bursts. This is arguably the most important card, not only in most KASHTIRA lists, but especially in this one. Unicorn and burst have a specific place in this deck. And I told you to max out on names, so we play also the 3 Theosis, which is something that I would not I would not prefer 3 Theosis in my deck, but in this version, in this iteration, I can recommend it. And then the preparation and 1 KASHTIRA Big Bang. So you may see where this is going now, because people only play Big Bang in lists that have a very specific purpose. So you obviously know main decking Big Bang. What can this lead to? And then yeah, for consistency, we play triple Wraith Thought together with the terraforming. So it's 4 Wraith Thoughts. And for extra consistency, we have Pot of Extravagance as a 3-off. So you may know how our extra deck is looking like. And yeah, we want to play at all times. So Called By is one of these hand traps that I feel like is necessary in the current format. Because a lot of people are still on hand traps because of Raziel and Mantis being very strong in the format, and Yubel also being in the format. So I think Called By is in theory a really, really strong hand trap. Or not a hand trap, like a card to play through hand traps. And we want our Unicorn to resolve at all times, at all cost. So having this one of Called By, I mean, I feel like it's mandatory. Then we play KASHTIRA. So for hand trap, we still play 3 Dimension Shifter. It's still a very strong card. People underestimate that, or like people say that Shifter fell off. Because Malice like profits from it and Raziel doesn't really care. This is wrong. Like, this is very wrong. Raziel cannot activate half of their effects if they're under Shifter, and Malice is losing a lot of cards and a lot of like actual interruptions that hurt you when they are under Shifter. Yes, they can combo easier in some like circumstances with some specific hands, but in general they'll make a loss out of that. And then Ash Blossom, I feel like it's still one of these hand traps that should be played together with Infinite Impermanence. This deck is clean 40. You could include cards like Triple Tactic Talent as a one-off, so it does not break too much, but it also tries, like, it helps you going second, it helps you establish a board going third, etc. By drawing a couple more cards. You could also main deck something like River of the Warlord, because the end deck will like the end board we're trying to make with this deck are very, I would not say degenerate, but it goes into that direction. Because it's a lot of level 7, so what could we potentially do if we play stuff like Big Bang? For starters, we still play one Zeus, one Typhon. I feel like these cards are mandatory if you play an Exceed deck at this point, except Radial, where you don't always make Zeus because of all these restrictions you have. But Typhon is really, really good in the current format, especially against Radial, and also against Malice sometimes, but yeah. Then we still play one Blaze, just comes up less often if you play against Radial, but it's still like a really, really strong card, but because if it resolves, it's just a non-target pop. Then we play Extravagant, so we play extra many Dark Armed. We also play extra many Red Metal Flare Dragon, and we play extra many KASHTIRA Shangri-La. So as you can see, the game plan from this extra deck alone is extremely simple. We zone lock. This is what I've been trying to show you with that deck. We try to zone lock or burn our opponent depending on what we play against. Because some decks just cannot play through the zone lock, some decks just can play very well under the zone lock, and some decks also just cannot absolutely under any circumstances play through that much burn. And yeah, just some card to finish this whole extra deck is one Big Eye in case you need to take some monsters. SP still comes up a decent amount of time, as well as Haggard Lizardos. But yeah, we zone lock or we burn our opponent until he cannot play anymore. It sounds very degenerate, but it's very, I would say, simple, and it works in a lot of times. And then for the side deck, we play 3 copies of Molchami Fubaloth and 3 copies of Molchami Perulia. I do believe that playing this this lineup is mandatory in rogue decks like this, like KASHTIRA. KASHTIRA is a rogue deck at this point. Like we cannot lie to ourselves. And in order to play against these like high meta decks against Malice like Radial, we want to max out on the Molchamis. Next up, I put in a little mix of hand traps. I played 2 Morna, 2 Ogre, and 2 Drone Lockbird, just to be covered in like against most matchups. And the last card is obviously the 3 of Solemn Judgment, which is still like one of the strongest, if not the strongest card for KASHTIRA going first. And yeah, that sums up the deck. I just wanna like quickly show like some amount of like combos. So you can like see what the deck is about. I mean, you can already tell, but I feel like, especially with cards like Big Bang and Preparation, there are like some combos you can do that further amplify the deck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shuffle this bad boy up for like a good amount. Give it a good shuffle because the card was sorted before. So I just hope that I don't draw like 3 Pot of Extravagant or something like that. And I think we also have to talk about Pot of Extravagant because it's one of these cards that I think it's mandatory to play Pot of Extravagant, but at the same time, it kind of sucks if both of your win cons get out. Like, if I've had this in the local, they banned 3 Shang and 2 Red Flare Metal and 1 Dark Arm, so I was like, okay, what the fuck is my game plan now? But I still won. It was just really, really rough. Because, I mean, the KASHTIRA cards are really, really good in itself, so it's like fine. Alright, I think I gave it a good shuffle. I'll give it a cut, and then we just see what we draw. Ash Blossom, we cannot work with that, so it's fine. 2 Rights are already really bad, and 1 Planet. Alright, and the thing is, just as before, if you draw Planet, or like, let's say a Planet is Unicorn, because Planet will always add Unicorn usually in this kind of list. If you have Planet and one of the other spells, like 1 Theodos or 1 Birth already in your hand, that is already devastating for the enemy, I can tell you that. In addition to that, having already the Wraith Heart in the hand, it's even more devastating, I'll show you. And for context, for the people that don't know why T-Cash is in this deck, Let me explain it in a second. I promised to explain. If you are under shifter, you cannot use burst ever. However, if you, before using the shifter, use tier cache to mill 3 cards from the opponent deck to the graveyard, you can use burst to zone lock under shifter. So I think that is very, very important to understand when you play this deck and this iteration of the deck, that tier cache can be used as like a card to fulfill your win con in like the sense. So yeah, let's play out this hand. We activate the Wraith Thought and let's go uninterrupted here because otherwise it would make a little bit stressful. We special Unicorn, use the effect of Unicorn to get the Theosis because we already have the burst in hand. So we get the Theosis, and at this point we obviously want the Fenrir. So we activate Theosis targeting Unicorn to special out the Fenrir. And the good thing about this like list, it does not matter where you put these cards. We already have the Wraith Heart in hand, so we use the Fenrir. In this case, to add the, we can do multiple things here. We can add Ogre. So this is like where it differentiates. It depends on what you play against, and it depends on like what kind of things you want to have on your board or something. So you have two options here. You can take the Ogre, you can also take the tier cache, and both of these serve a purpose. You just have to value like which one is better, you know. So what Ogre gets you is you can normal summon Ogre with KASHTIRA Burst. What that gets you is preparation, and with preparation you have the advantage that you can special from the banishment or from the hand, which can come up in some situations. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I would say so you can get tier cache too, because if you get tier cache instead of Ogre, you can use tier cache to banish the Rise Heart, to special tier cache, mill 3 from the opponent, and then use burst on the first spell that they use. Also, you can use burst to get back the Rise Heart. Then that's what you can do. But I feel like in this situation it would be better to get Ogre with the Fenrir, and then use burst and normal summon the Ogre, use the effect of Ogre to get preparation. This is what I would do here, just to have the maximum amount of grind game, and also the maximum amount of zone lock. Because with preparation, Ogre, and also Wraith Thought is a very important piece here. Because when you have Wraith Thought, you can extend furthermore through birth and ensure like a really good zone lock. So at this point we take the extra deck in our hand, and overlay, not these two. Which one do we overlay though? We overlay these two. Because we only play one Ogre, this is very important. Also, yeah, I'll put it in the top though, so you can still see it. We play only one Ogre, so we want to ensure that this Ogre gets out of rotation really quick. So that's why we special the Rise Heart, and then we use the Rise Heart to banish Big Bang. And with this Big Bang, certain things will happen. So you go chaining 1 Big Bang, targeting Shangri-Ira to special back the Ogre, and chaining 2 Shangri-Ira to lock a zone. And then this one is level 7. You have the Ogre from Big Bang, and now you use Planet to pop the Fenrir, the Shang. And then you use Shang's effect to protect itself by ditching the Fenrir. And now you can use Burst to special the Fenrir back, and now you have this board. You already have one zone locked, so we still do the same thing. We take a Fenrir here, and make a second Shangri-Ira, and we always lock the zone above Shang, so we cannot get Animat, which is very important. Yeah, and then you make a second Shang, and you just set preparation. I'll mount the set it. I'm just gonna put it face up here, so you see that it's here. And with this board, in the opponent turn, you already have one zone locked. Keep that in mind. And in the opponent standby phase, you're gonna special back the Fenrir. The reason you do that is still the same reason as we did that in the last KASHTIRA list. It's just because if they for some reason have talent, they cannot take your Fenrir. So that is very important. I mean, they can take it, but they cannot put in attack position, so it's really fine. So with this board, you have one zone locked, and what happens once the enemy activates the monster effect, it's over for them. It's literally, they cannot play. It's over for them. So you have basically a guaranteed way to finish the game if they have nothing against it. And it's really hard for the enemy to out this. With one monster effect, you activate Unicorn, Ogre, and Fenrir. Right, like if you can activate Fenrir. But even if you activate Ogre and Unicorn only, this is why important to have Ogre. Because with these two, you rip one off from the extra deck and you rip one of the top 5 cards. And then you can activate Shang 2 times. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 zone locked, together with the zone you locked already from the Wraith Heart that you used there in the beginning. You already have 5 zones locked. So the enemy can either not use any spell traps anymore or any monster effect. Or like they cannot place any monsters. And let's actually do the same thing with the with the starting hand that we had, which was this. It's crazy actually that with the starting hand you get to all of this. But let's actually roll back and do the same for the flare metal. Because I feel like without Big Bang the equation changed a little bit. So we still go the pressure planet for the unicorn. This hasn't changed and this will never change. So you special unicorn, you use the effect of unicorn to get the Theosis. And same was the last time you use the Theosis on the unicorn to special the Fenrir. There's no better target here. You could get Ogre, but again, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And then you have multitude of things. Unfortunately, we already have one Wraith Heart. This would be so much crazier if we had like a Scareclaw or a Tikash in our hand rather than the other Wraith Heart. But it's still fine. We use the burst. We use Fenrir. In this case, you can theoretically try to do some plays, but in this case, you don't have to do some Tikash plays to mill 3 card and hope you mill a level 7 KASHTIRA monster, because you can just banish a level 7 monster with Wraith Heart and get it back with burst without doing all these shady shenanigan plays. So with this, we just get the Ogre, and then we normal summon Ogre, use the effect of Ogre to get preparation, and then we use the Wraith Heart, we use the effect of Wraith Heart. So with this, you just overlay these two into the good old flare metal. And then with the 2, you also overlay to flare metal. With this, you basically permanently lose access to the Ogre unless it just dies and you get it back with burst. So now you could use burst to get back the unicorn. You can do that. But I would not do that, because if this gets, for some reason, if this gets blown away for some reason, then you can really just, especially the unicorn back, and still have like burst and stuff live. So it's really just fine. And with this, every effect that the enemy uses, he loses 1000 LP. If you look at current decks, that's not doable. They cannot out this properly without basically just dying. Yeah, this is what I can just realized when I was in YCS Bologna, and I just had the out against Tenpai, and it worked against every Tenpai player going first in the first match, because if they just sent me first, I did that, and it was GG. I hope this kind of build was interesting to you guys. It's one way of playing KASHTIRA in the new format. It kind of sucks going second, I agree, but this is why in the side deck you run all these cards in order to be fine going second. You can even increase like the if you don't have mulch armies, you can just like play 3-3. So 3 Perulias would be 3 copies of each of these, and then 3 Fuvalos would be something like Nibiru or something. I just want to show you this version. I hope you enjoyed this kind of style video with this funny for this funny ass list. Let me know what you think of it, and until then, see you until next video. Goodbye.